I'll kill you.
Hey, man, I know you use that on your other shows, but I don't want Bird of Prey on ours, please.
You just hate him.
What? No. I just it's unnecessary.
Well, he's in the
for
chat
us.
right now, you know.
Hey, that's fine. I don't give two squirts of monkey piss if he's in the chat.
Mhm.
I just don't want him on our
Wow,
intro. You can have him on your intro, but unless he wants to participate and get on the panel, that's fine. But it's you and this is our show, bro. So Bird of Prey, you gotta cut that part out. Just do the do when it goes to black, and then
What if I get him to say, "I'll effing kill Danny"?
No. If he's not, no. Here's the thing: if he's not on the show, I don't want him on. And hey, everybody who's like, "What the hell is wrong with Danny's face?"
No.
CC,
You don't start because you'll end up telling everybody what you told me. And no, shut up. Don't start.
Okay.
Don't say
All right. Well, then you explain to the folks at home.
He shaved because he's trying to be a good husband because Cece wants him to shave and she wants him to keep the mustache. End of story. Shut up. Don't say anything else.
Cool. All right. Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Hey, that was perfect. Thank you.
And so Birds will come on the panel and tell you why you're wrong.
Hey man, I'm welcome to have you on. Like this is supposed to be nerd fight, and Mike and I get along too much. I could use a little chaos. I feel like you're a little chaos,
Anyway, so
am I wrong?
I do need to say one thing before we get started on today's big episode, and I know this is a big one because
Dude,
it's our.
I know you're not on Twitter, but did you see my tweets?
No,
I was live tweeting the show when it dropped because I took it kind of annoyed Cece. I went to bed at like 7 so I could nap, so I could wake up and watch. Hey, it's Bird, so I could watch Picard in real time because I wanted to tweet. I wanted to tweet my reactions in real time. You know what I mean? And yeah, so check those out, Mike. Fuck, man.
So no, but I want to get this out there because this is something I just found out, and it could possibly impact next week's show. And so I went to the doctor day before yesterday because will you let me finish before you panic?
Okay, sorry.
So anyway, to go over the results of one of the mini tests they've been doing, and one of those tests was on my thyroid. And there's a couple of nodules on my thyroid. And it's funny because the doctor starts out saying, well, nodules on your thyroid really aren't a big deal. We don't get worried about them unless they get over 15 millimeters. And I said, oh, okay, how big are these? Well, one of them's 22 and the other one's 26. I'm like, well, then why did you say it like that?
How are you laughing about this, bro? Like,
So, and then because of and the thing is, there was two basic options here. Option one, they go in and do a biopsy of each nodule to make sure they're benign. Option two, they remove the thyroid. And because of the fact that I'm already high risk for cancer because I had colon cancer, and I'm also high risk for cancer because both of my parents died of cancer and 3 of my 4 grandparents died of cancer, we opted to remove the thyroid. So the thyroid is going to be surgically removed a week from today.
So you're going to have your thyroid removed a week from today.
Yes. Can you live without a thyroid?
Well, I don't know. Hey, mom, please put Michael on your prayer list. Yes, no, the whole and yes, Mom. The only reason I have the stash is Cece wants me to do
Will you stop about no? Shut up about the mustache. You're not talking.
I was just replying to the chat. Sorry.
So yes, Bird, you can live without your thyroid. However, you have to take hormone replacement therapy because your thyroid generates hormones that regulate your metabolism and your mood. Actually, you don't have to. Not cool.
No, I didn't want to interrupt. So, when I was 15, my appendix ruptured and I almost died, and they removed it. And then after the fact, I was like, basically, all the doctors and nurses and people told me that the appendix was like redundant. It was useless. Like has no purpose. Is the thyroid like that, or does it have purpose?
No, the thyroid, the thyroid regulates your metabolism, but we have synthetic hormones that can replace the thyroid hormones.
My high school biology teacher told us you can make a hormone yourself.
Yeah.
Just don't pay her.
I've made a few whores moan, but that's that's pretty different. Oh, come on.
The educational system at work.
That was bad. All right, so
somebody out there in YouTube land laughed at me saying I made a few.
No, they laughed at you.
Okay, whatever.
That just end it right there. They just laughed at you. Anyway, so
Picard,
we'll get to Picard in just a second. But my only concern is now it is an outpatient procedure. However, depending on how I'm feeling next Thursday, could impact how well I'm able to do the show. I will see Picard episode 2, but I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do the show. I'll be here.
Obviously,
maybe like this the whole time and just like.
Hey man, you can do like Bird of Prey is doing. You put a little avatar up,
Yeah, I may have to, but I may just have to type though. I mean, you may have to talk the whole time. Maybe Bird will have to fill in for me if you're up to it.
I am. All I know is I put this on Twitter. I send in messages to my friends. This episode I just watched was like wrapping up in a warm blanket.
I know you know what?
It was so, I loved it so much.
Danny, you are the worst person. You know what? I want to play poker with you so bad.
Let's do it.
I would take all your money.
No, you wouldn't.
Because you would be like, I have the best hand ever. And I'm.
Nah, bro. You'll see. I'm actually really good at poker.
Sure you are.
Sure. That's what they all say.
Okay.
I think Bird and I would just walk out with all your money.
Let's make it happen.
One of us would walk out.
Well, yeah, that's true. Bird
don't sing it. Don't sing it.
I would hobble out and Bird would just wheel out. But yeah. But at least we'd have more money.
Yeah, whatever.
You'd walk out with nothing.
All right. 54.5 Access Radio. Fuck you. Yeah, I cried.
Yes, I bet you did cry, didn't you?
You cried at this episode?
Fuck both of you. Yeah. Dude, this was
Listen, I tear up.
Such a good episode. Are you kidding me?
I've teared up at Futurama when Fry's dog died. Okay, I'm not above sobbing, but there was nothing in this episode that came close.
And now, see, this is why I just gotta stop admitting to crying. Captain Fandom Nerd is picking on me now. You're a bully. You remind me of the dudes that shoved me in my locker in high school because I read comic books.
All right.
Dick.
So let's.
Sorry, baby.
We'll get into it just a second. So first of all, okay. So we get it, Danny. You thought that this episode was the greatest thing since Swiss cheese.
No, I didn't say that. I said it was like wrapping up in a warm blanket. It was like this
wrapping
is what,
up in a blanket, and it made you tear.
We did not need Picard season 1 or 2. All we needed.
Well, I think we can all agree with that.
All we needed was this. This is all we wanted. this is like, oh my God, from the score. I can't wait to talk to you about when they leave. I tweeted it. I was watching this real time. When they fucking left the space dock, the music and the lines, which were like mirrored from Wrath of Khan, I literally had goosebumps. And I tweeted like, "Oh my God!" I'm sorry.
Like a teenage girl, man.
Fuck all the haters, man.
Dear Diary.
Okay,
Today I watched Picard.
I'm a Star
gave
Trek
special
fanatic.
feeling in my special.
I got a
place.
goddamn bat lift right there. I'm like,
Hey,
no,
dude,
man.
I love Star Trek, but don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Star Trek.
So are we gonna fight about you didn't like this as much as me?
Not as much as you did, no.
Oh wow!
And there were some things that actually.
Well, I guess that's why you're the anti-Trekker.
There are some things actually that really bothered me about this episode, and so
well, let's get into it, man.
Yeah,
let's
talk about it. And I don't know how Bird felt about it because I haven't watched his reaction to it at all, so I have no idea.
Well, I've never done like a legitimate. I've never done a legitimate
mediocre
show with Bird, so
yeah.
Bird, hi, officially. You are our guest panelist, not the God Emperor of Kuroga. Hey!
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
I told you. No, you're not late. I told you.
Yes, he
is.
Believe
me. I told you.
Don't say you're not late when he's late.
Well, we were just bullshitting. We haven't even started yet, so he's fine. He's right on time.
I had to feed 2 dogs and a child, so it took me a little bit longer to get on.
And he's moving into a new office, and
all right.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
so we're going to start out, and actually you are just in time because we're just getting into the episode. The only thing that's, so first of all, Danny has not played his cards close to the chest at all. He's been gushing like a little girl.
This was like
yeah, we know. It's like a warm blanket. You love it and love it and love it.
Yeah, but Danny said the same thing about the first episodes of season 1 and 2 as well.
No, this is no. This is he makes
I
a
did
good
as
point.
well, to be fair.
No,
I actually did about season 2 for sure, and I liked the first couple episodes of season 1.
I remember when we first started the Salty Nerd podcast. We were doing it out of Alex's living room, and Danny came over one time. We were talking about Picard, and no, it was his living room. Okay. But Danny came over to guest on one of the episodes, and we were reviewing Picard, and it just started, and he was talking about how much he loved the first episode, and we were like, yeah, the first episode was pretty good. They honeypotted us season 2 as well.
Yep, they sure did.
Because Mike, you were on that season 2.
I was on the season 2 with them.
Yeah. They suckered us twice.
All right, so let's get into this. We're never going to get through the episode. Okay. Right, so we start out with this.
Hey, Kadish, did you these are from Vader brought these to me.
All right. Danny, you're not sidetracking us. All right.
No, I just want. Okay, sorry.
No, I just want to sidetrack.
Focus, Danny. Focus.
Yeah. I know.
All right, so we start out with a title card in the 23rd century.
I'm sorry, just important housekeeping.
Yes.
They're asking in the chat, are you doing spoilers or not?
Yes, we are going to spoil the crap.
Just out of the first episode, it's a lie. I mean, it's
right. Only episode 1, obviously.
I haven't seen.
Any of us have seen episode 2. I have not. Danny has not. I assume Bird about Kadish.
Kadish, have you seen more than the first episode?
Okay, so none of us have even seen episode 2, so we're just talking about episode 1.
Yeah, this is a review. I mean, come on, guys. Look.
But if you have not seen episode 1, leave now.
Now. Yeah.
All right. So, all right.
Man,
so
Darren, why is Darren Wagner so mean to me? Are you watching the chat? He's so mean.
Because you should put the weed pipe down.
I didn't. You saw Cece took it.
Yes,
I actually,
because you were
yeah.
token on it. Now shut up.
Okay.
You will
All right.
speak when spoken to, and no more.
Put myself up there. All right. And we're going to go in sequence here from now on. All right, Danny?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we start out with the title card. In the 25th century, a direct reference to In the 23rd Century from Star Trek II. I know this is just a title card, but I just got to go on a slight diatribe here. I hated this with a passion. I did not like the callbacks. Danny, you'll get your turn. Just relax.
I'm just gonna ask why, but
I'm
I'm
getting to why.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I didn't like it because this is not TOS. This is, and by the way, there are multiple callbacks to TOS in this episode and I'm sorry.
You really didn't.
Will
like
you
this?
shut up, Danny? You'll get your turn.
This is why I'm not on Salty Nerd anymore.
There are callbacks to TNG that I do like, but the callbacks that they go directly to TOS I thought were inappropriate. And this, to me, was shameless fan service trying to capitalize on the love of Wrath of Khan. And this has nothing to do with Wrath of Khan. So we're going to go right down the list. So Danny, I know now Danny has his headphones off. Danny, what did you think of this title card?
Are you kidding me? I like total opposite of you. I was like, oh my god, and the music, like, oh no, I loved it, man. Total opposite of you. I don't. I'd rather these.
For me, I just thought, we're getting nothing.
I was like, ah! I loved it. I loved it so much. Yeah. Especially if you notice the next title card when they put.
Well, no, we're not skipping ahead. Just
okay.
Stay focused.
All right.
Bird, any thoughts?
First memberberry, I liked it, but didn't really push me one way or the other.
Okay. Mr. Kadish?
It actually confused me because for a minute I thought I was watching a Buck Rogers episode.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't care. I'm not as into the weeds on these Easter eggs as some of the Trek fans are. So to me, it was fine. It was just like, okay, we're in the 25th century. Thanks for the heads up.
Well, yeah, but I think Mike, you're talking about the fonts, right? Like you thought.
Well, it is the exact same title card as the beginning of Star Trek 2.
Of course. That's why I loved it. That's why I popped my tits off. Well, why didn't you like it?
Yeah, I understand. But I personally didn't care for it because of the very fact that...
And then we get a nebula, just like in Wrath of Khan, the Mutara Nebula. But it's not the Mutara Nebula. It's a different nebula.
So we get this new starship, which is a civilian ship. We'll get to that in a little bit. Nice opening shot with some... Now, I gotta say, alien ship doesn't work for me. Just looks like a big mass of ugliness. But
but doesn't that looks like the NX-01, doesn't it? Like
no, you think everything looks like the NX-01?
No, but look at that. Like it does.
It does look like a Federation ship to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like a Federation ship, but to me it looks more akin to like an elongated version of the Steam Runner. I mean, I could see some similarities to the NX-01 but the Steam Runner also had those same similarities because it's clearly a TNG era ship.
Can I ask the Star Trek proficient on the panel?
Yes.
How many people does it take to actually run one of these big starships? I know that this is considered a small starship, but for just two people, I mean, it's like driving a yacht, right?
It depends if Scotty rigged it for.
Apparently, according to the first episode of Picard, it only took Crusher and her son, so that's two. So.
Yeah. And Orville Nation, the $3 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. I truly appreciate it. Although why I don't see it in the chat, I don't know. My chat's not updating for some reason. And Indy Tiger says 83 to 438. That's weird. I see it in one place, but not in another. You did super chat, right, Orville?
If you did in the StreamYard chat, it's because it went past and it's up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Oh, it's a super sticker. Okay, there it is. I don't know why it didn't pop up for me there. All right, so thank you, Orville. I truly appreciate it, buddy. And there's the dog. But yeah, it's. I mean, I'll give him this much. I mean, if we look at computer technology, having a fully automated ship like that by the 25th century isn't unreasonable. But when you're talking about things like matter, antimatter core and stuff like that, you would think you'd need at least 1 or 2 engineers on the ship.
Well, even the La Sarita, at least according to season 1 of Picard, like had holographic crew members that would man different areas.
I feel like Terry Metalis was like, hey, let's just do this and pretend seasons 1 and 2 never happened.
No, the La Sarita's in this though.
Oh, is
it? It only has a crew of 1. So
yeah, it's Raffi's ship. She's the one who's flying around in it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of kind of weird.
I don't think we're supposed to worry about that. To be honest.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Mhm.
I was.
But this ship is tiny. It's basically a glorified runabout.
Yeah.
Just get all the way off his back.
I was on the Popcast. I subscribe and I'm a member with the Popcast guys, and they just did like a private members stream about Picard. And my whole thing was like, do you think what?
Mike, do you think that this ship is about as big as the Defiant?
No, I would say the Defiant's bigger.
Sorry.
Okay.
Really? You think the Defiant's bigger?
Well, look at the shuttlecraft.
Yeah, a regular shuttlecraft is as large as that entire bridge module at the top. So yeah.
I don't think so. I think the saucer area is bigger.
I got a picture of the shuttle landing on it. We'll see that.
I wish they would.
It's as big as the docking area.
Right.
Yeah. I wish they would give us a better frame of reference on these ships.
Right, like the shuttle.
3 or 4 shuttles diameter.
Because I'm telling you,
that's the landing pad for a shuttle.
Do any of you guys here know how big the Titan is? Because there's no frame of reference.
Well, the Titan's as big as the space dock doors are wide.
Yeah.
That still doesn't help.
But it seems like every ship is as big as
exactly.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
I mean, the Constitution was, but so is the Galaxy class.
And the Excelsior.
They're a Neo-Constitution class, is what they said in the.
I mean, from the looks of it, the Titan looks like it's about the size of a Connie.
I think it's probably.
I just wish they would give us some kind of frame of reference. I have no idea how big that ship is.
So here we go, and this is where I really started rolling my eyes because don't get me wrong, it's not a bad shot, but this is memberberry overload right here.
But notice, I'm sorry.
Look, I'm going to steal this.
For all the memberberries about Beverly Crusher. This is
Rod and Berries. I'm stealing this from the Popcast guys because I love it. Don't say memberberries. It's Rod and Berries.
I'm saying memberberries.
Well,
no, it's Rod
whatever
and
kind of berries you want to call them. Of all the things she had, pictures and suitcases and flowers, not one reminder of Wesley.
Yeah.
Not one.
Doesn't give a crap about her firstborn son.
You know what? I didn't know.
Well, nobody else gives a crap about him either. So
that is
shut
true.
up, Wesley. Yeah,
good point, Matthew.
Fuck that guy.
No, I really didn't like this because this felt more like what you would find on the shelf of a fanatic fan of TNG that really liked Dr. Crusher, not on Dr. Crusher's own shelf. Because I mean, I've never seen anyone keep this much memorabilia of their life's exploits this closely packed And why the heck does she have a TOS phaser?
Wait a minute. No, we see we see Picard.
Oh, you're breaking up, Danny. I don't know if it's your cell phone, but
This to Geordi.
we lost you there for a minute.
And I was looking for the the candle. I couldn't find the candle.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. What were you trying to say?
No, I was just saying this scene here with this is Beverly Crusher's setup.
Right, we're still looking at her crap.
Yeah, and then we have Picard, and Picard's like trying to give all of his stuff away.
Well, we'll get to that later. But we're just talking about Beverly's stuff right now. Stop jumping ahead.
Yeah,
we're not.
I'm just saying there's parallels. I'm sorry.
Right, but forget about that. I'm asking,
Okay.
Why does Beverly Crusher have a TOS phaser sitting on her desk?
She likes
You know
classic
what?
lasers.
Throughout this episode, it came up several times that she cut herself off from everyone for over 20 years.
Yes, but why would she have a 100-year-old hand phaser sitting on her desk?
I don't know.
I don't know.
In pieces, by the way.
She needed to use the power cell.
For what?
Grow
Kadish.
portraits.
Please chime in. You're like the smartest person here. Come on.
Jadish is going to say bad writing.
No, I'm guessing that it has something to do with the villains who are chasing her down, and that the main villain of Vladik, who we have yet to meet, I think has ties to certain things that Beverly has been trying to keep from her, and I'm guessing that this has something to do with it. If not, it's a memberberry, but by the end of the season, hopefully we'll have some explanation as to
I really
why
hope
she has all this stuff.
Yeah, because if there's no reason for that TOS phaser, I am going to be mad. I gotta admit, because that just felt really out of place. And here's some more stuff.
Did you watch the trailer or not the trailer? The end credits. There were a bunch of rotten berries in the end credits.
In the
Yeah,
credits.
look at that, Jack Crusher.
Right. That was her late husband.
So Stan Lee in the chat asks why she's listening to an old Picard log entry, and I think she
there's a reference back to that same incident later in the same episode.
Yeah, I think she was listening to it to figure out a strategy with which to contact Picard in case of an emergency, and that's why it's set up and payoff, basically.
Right. And then we see Beverly, who now looks like the alien from Communion.
That's mean.
That's mean.
I'd say, well, it looks like bad facelift to me. I mean, maybe
whatever.
It's just me, but it looks like she's had one
gorgeous.
She is definitely in the GILF category.
Yeah.
Gates McFadden ages wonderfully.
I would disagree. Yeah. I think that's some surgical work right there.
No, man, she's gorgeous. She is gorgeous.
Really? You think that's gorgeous?
For that age, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Come on. What's wrong with you? You're just mean.
I'll take Laris over her any day.
Well, yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
If you had to pick between the two, yeah, you're going to go with Laris.
Yeah.
No. Wow. No.
Here's the thing. Team Laris here.
No. Wow. I'm on an island by myself.
Laris has the accent. She's got the pointy ears.
Yeah, but
she's
a bit of a freak.
No. I've been in love with Beverly Crusher since I was
so I brought this picture up. I zoomed in on the panel just so you guys could see this is a civilian ship. So she actually owns that starship.
Yes.
She could be renting.
Well, it's probably her ship.
It's her ship.
But
what in that designates it as a civilian ship?
it's not the USS Elros, it's the SS. And in Star Trek, an SS is a civilian ship. And
it's
To be fair, I think it's just safer to say it's not a Starfleet ship.
right. Even though it looks like a Starfleet ship, it is not. Even though it's Federation, it's clearly Federation. So given that it's Federation, it's a civilian ship.
It also appears to be a significantly older design.
I like how they have the L cars
because it's using the L cars.
It harkens back to my big question about season 1, which is why couldn't Picard just have a Federation ship replicated for him, or buy a Federation ship instead of having
this was a big problem I have here, because she apparently owns a starship that she can operate by herself, and yet Picard in this same episode, when getting a message from her, can't figure out a way to get a ship.
In fact,
you guys
not to jump too far ahead,
seasons 1 and 2.
But very specifically, Picard says, "Oh, where we're going, it's too far and too dangerous to hire a ship, to charter a ship." But that's exactly what he did in season 1.
Well, also in season 1, didn't Riker? He was retired. And then he goes back and gets his old ship and saves the day at the end with like the entire Federation fleet.
Yeah, that's right.
He just comes out of retirement. He's like, I want my ship back for this one mission.
Right. But
why
now
couldn't he do that again?
He has to do a whole cloak and dagger thing to try and trick somebody.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there seems to be a little, and granted, I get it. Metalis is trying to work with what he had to try and make an interesting story. I'm not.
No, it's kind of reminding me of something. Who all seen Ant-Man, Quantumania yet?
Haven't seen it yet.
It
just came out, Danny.
Yeah, it came out today.
No, well, I got to see it. Thanks to Cosmic Comics.
Let's not mix our.
We're not talking about Quantumania, dude. We're focusing.
Okay.
Focus.
Well,
focus.
no, I get it, but okay, never mind.
Yeah. Forget about Quantumania. We're not talking about Quantumania.
Okay, all right.
I have
All right.
something better.
So now, and thank you, Jean-Luc Picard has donated $1. So it says, buying and feeding those Romulans cost me a lot of money. I forgot. Picard does have a whole cadre of Romulan slaves on his plantation. So there is that.
You mean his vineyard?
Yeah. Well, we might as well call it a plantation. I mean, when you got slaves, you got land. The Romulans are tending the land without pay.
No.
But in the future, everyone just does things for the emotional fulfillment of doing good
That's
work.
what the rich people tell them. Danny, you froze up again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Let's keep moving.
Okay, so I have something very specific to say about this scene. This is where Beverly grabs a gun. And Danny, I hope you can see this. I don't know if you can, because I prepared a very, very special presentation just for this moment. And so I'm very, very sad that Danny is frozen up and probably can't see this, because he would, I think, very much appreciate this. So please direct your eyes to your screens and pay close attention for the next 55 seconds.
Michael, you obviously didn't pick up the fact that it was a phaser shotgun, and those
Yes.
were charges. So like she only had a certain number of charges before it ran out. And
Which
also they note like both Picard and Riker noted when they came on the ship that they weren't familiar with this type of tech. So
Right.
this is obviously something new that is outside of Starfleet's knowledge. So we're not
But it
going to be
looked like
familiar
a
with it.
Starfleet phaser rifle.
It might have looked like it. Maybe she was maybe she took something old and retrofitted it. I mean, who knows at this point? But the fact is that this gun was doing things that we haven't seen in Star Trek before. So
No,
I'm willing to give it a little bit of leeway.
Tell me, what was this gun doing that we haven't seen before except for pump action?
Getting jammed.
Well, it was not only
And having
only-
only 4 shots.
it was not only pump action, but like when it hit someone, it just blew them up and turned them to dust, right?
So did Seven's gun.
Vaporized.
Well, I mean, there's vaporized, but then there's being turned to dust. It was
This
a
is
different type.
reimagined vaporize.
Yeah, different type of vaporization.
It looked almost identical to Seven's vaporization.
No, it didn't. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one.
I don't know. I think, but you see, I don't see any advantage to her gun, especially if it only has 4 shots.
I think it was a stopping power. I think that like it was a more powerful blast than a typical phaser. So, who knows? It looked cool. That's all I care about.
Okay, so now all you care about is whether it looks cool. I see. Kadish used to care about good writing. Now he just cares if it looks cool.
This is not bad writing. It's just a new type of tech that they haven't yet explained.
Well, if they give a good explanation in a future episode, I'll be okay with it. But for right now,
I mean, they did set up the fact that like at the end of the episode, Picard and Riker hadn't seen stuff like this before. So
no, they did.
hopefully they explain it. Hopefully they explain it.
I'd have a hard time buying an explanation for why somebody would purposely make an energy gun that could potentially become mechanically jammed for no apparent reason
Well, and have such
in the 25th century.
I mean, it has such a limited amount of use. Because in a firefight, when you only have a handful of shots like that, and you have a boarding party, look at what happened. She fired her 4 rounds, and then she got nailed. And then when she was trying to reach for another gun.
I mean, even 100+ years ago, small hand phasers had the vaporized function,
Right.
and no shortage of shots. So it just seems very suspicious that they would go so far backwards in tech.
That's exactly my point. Like, and they showed her having a Type 2 phaser on the desk, a more powerful weapon than what she's holding right there.
It might not have been working. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, but
my big thing was seeing Beverly Crusher in a freaking firefight and holding her own. That is not something that we were treated to in the Next Generation for the most part.
And compare, by the way, look at her phaser rifle and then compare that to the rifle from First Contact. They're almost identical.
They might just be reusing the same props to save some money.
But the only difference is one's pump action, which,
And it might be a situation where Beverly's been modifying these things herself.
I know, but a pump action energy weapon.
I mean,
maybe it's not. Maybe it actually has projectiles. Maybe it's not an energy weapon.
She's gone full Sarah Connor. I mean, the fact that she was like the most beloved, life-affirming character,
I don't.
And now she's literally vaporizing people who are already injured.
Right. I don't like. This is not Beverly Crusher. I mean, they did this to Jean-Luc Picard in First Contact. Now they're doing it to Beverly Crusher. I don't want every member of TNG to be running around kicking ass and taking names.
Well, they've also set up this mystery around Beverly where like she's been gone for 20 years. She's cut off contact with all the old crew. Right. We don't know what her motivations are quite yet, even though we could probably guess.
Doing this, that was fine.
But, I feel like for a first episode of a season, this type of setup, still has time to be explained and justified. So.
Right. All right, let's move on. So after Beverly pulls the Rambet move, we have, this is some nice ship porn here, where the her ship is pulling away from 3 now of the alien ships, or we assume they're alien. We don't know what their species is. Hopefully Danny makes it back. I know he's been having some internet issues. He told me before the show started.
I mean, clearly the bridge just doesn't seem to fit.
Right, because if you look at
Scale.
that bridge, that looks like it should be the bridge module, but it's not. Like, this is the bridge. So these windows are BS. These are just lights. Which I don't like. That's a common thing nowadays in sci-fi, where they put these lights on that look like windows, but they're not windows. Because if these were windows, then this ship would be like half the size. This would be like the size of the Defiant. But instead, this is not. This up at the top is not the bridge. This up at the top is just a little bump. This whole square section is like the bridge. And Orville Nation with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Says doctors in the military also fire weapons. I'm not saying that that's not a thing. I'm saying Beverly Crusher doesn't really. She's not like the ass kicker type of character. She's always been the preserve life at all costs character.
Let me ask you something, Michael. So Wesley became a traveler. Is that correct? And he can transcend time and space, go anywhere, do anything. Why can't he help his mom out, especially if she's like about
He could, but he doesn't give a crap.
Obviously, that's against the rules.
Yeah. And Jason, thank you so much, says the SS Zaston in the other direction in size. Not.
I have no idea.
All right. Well, thank you for the 5 Canadian Shatners, but yeah, I don't think any of us get it. Must be a Canadian thing. You know, those wacky Canadians. All right. So this is actually a nice shot. I think this is a nice look at the front of the ship. I do like the design of that ship, but I still. Yeah, I just don't like the design. I don't like the lights. All right, so then we get to the title card. So all that was just the teaser, which or the stinger. I like that. I like the stinger, and I gotta say, man, did they improve the opening credits? And hey, Danny, are you back? Are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Are you on your home internet or still on your phone?
So, my phone. So yeah.
All right. So one thing, I think this is a drastic improvement over, quite frankly, every Kurtzman era Star Trek show, with the exception of Strange New Worlds, having that stupid artsy looking opening credits crap that they've done. And I love the fact that it's just the Picard logo with nothing else, followed by the title of the episode. And that's it. That is how
simple,
you do
to the point. Yep.
Yeah. It's classy.
Yeah,
it looks nice. Yeah.
I was a big fan of that.
Yeah. So then we get a nice little character moment with Lars and Picard, who looks about 8,000 times better than Dr. Crusher.
Wow.
And so there, I'm sorry. You know what? If the missus were gone, and, I'd go Pointy.
Yeah, if she was your Romulan slave.
Oh, heck yeah.
That.
She could be my Romulan slave. That's right. And Jason, thank you so much for another. Oh, is the Zexon class Star Destroyer, except shrinking the models of things instead of expanding. Ah, gotcha. So that's a Star Destroyer. And yeah, the Star Destroyers are just freaking insane. But yeah, they put lights and stuff all over the Star Wars ships too, and they're not windows. They're just lights.
Here's okay. So Brian and Shane from the Popcast,
Dissect class Star
they were
Destroyer,
like,
except shrinking the models of things instead of expanding them.
what? Oh, do you have a? Is that a super chat?
That was.
Oh, super chat.
But yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Oh, okay. They said you did not have to watch seasons 1 and 2, and I went all in on that. But the stuff with Laris, and I hate season 1 and 2, and I envy people who have not seen it and will just watch season 3, but they will be like, "Who is this chick?"
Right, they wouldn't know that she's his slave, and right.
But it is a season 3, Danny. Like, people know that stuff happened before this.
Right.
Well, yeah, but a lot.
And I must say that Picard looks very good for a 5-year-old synth. So, just want to put that out there.
Well, he should only be 1-year-old because it's
No, the synth was
2401,
no.
and Picard came out in 2399.
I feel like Terry Matalas ignored the first 2 seasons.
He did.
Yeah, and this was just.
But as someone who watched the first 2 seasons, I can't get over the fact that this is basically robot Picard, who ages and gets sick and gets injured just like a regular human being, but he's completely synthetic.
Dude,
Right. Which is really.
I was with you for those first 2 season reviews, which I regret, but I love you, so fuck you, but I love you. I don't know. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm able to suspend disbelief and totally ignore those first 2 seasons because.
But I mean, like the real Picard's dead. This is just a robot replacement.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but if you can suspend disbelief and ignore the first 2 seasons, you don't necessarily.
He's still a robot.
Well,
Still a robot.
They never bring it up.
My understanding is they do. They will bring it up. That's what one guy said. But anyway, let's move on because we're going down a rabbit hole. Anyway, so here we have Picard with his big old treasure trove of member berries for no reason other than to show off to everybody. Hey, look, I got my member berries too.
No,
Well, did you notice to people? Did you notice the thematic element here, where basically Laris is, let go of the past, live in the present, and he's like, no, the past is what defines me, and that's kind of like what season 3 is about, right? It's about a return to the past and all the stuff that made Picard good, as opposed to the previous 2 seasons where they tried to move past that and failed miserably. So, like, I appreciated the theme here between Picard and Laris.
I just think that they kind of, they took the nail and hit it with a sledgehammer.
This is why.
Like, for example, if you got
this is why I've missed Kadish on our show. No, he's right. No, he's totally right.
No, I get that. But for example, if you cleared off all the clutter on his desk and he's just sitting there with the flute, that would have been enough. Because that flute from the inner light of everything he's got there, that item has got the most significance. And so that, I think.
But he's not trying to get rid of that. He said, like, I'll give Geordi the picture.
No, the painting. But the painting scene earlier is fine. I'm talking about this shot right here. You get rid of all.
He's not talking about giving that flute away at all.
I'm talking about hitting fans over the head with member berries. I'm talking about, you don't have to have the gold Enterprise from the wall, and you don't have to have the Bajoran symbol and all the other stuff that you're cramming into the shot. He could just sit there with the flute and be contemplating things, and that's enough.
Well,
I
don't-
get that, but
You
the
see what I'm
problem
saying?
is, for this whole thing to work, he has to be having his entire house boxed up, ready to go to a museum. Otherwise, his uniform would make no sense.
But then he can have boxes around the house. You don't have
Well,
to have
he-
everything on
say
display.
hi. Say hi.
Okay.
When you're packing, you don't have everything out on display. You have boxes around you.
You miss Cece. She tried to say hi, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell her that I'm
Maybe-
too busy being a jerk and ruining your childhood.
Michael says he was too busy being a jerk and ruining my childhood. But I'm saying if you want to come back and say hi again, he'll pay attention to you this time.
So here we go. 5 minutes later, he's at the same desk, and now all of a sudden, instead of the gold Enterprise, he's got the statue from a different episode. And hey, Cece,
There you go.
Yelling, yeah, he's yelling at
No, he said hey,
I'm not
Cece.
yelling at you, Cece. I'm yelling at Picard. See, and this is the kind of crap I'm talking about. Why would he then clear out the other clutter and put more different clutter on his desk just to say, hey guys, look, here's different member berries?
Well, what did he clear out and put on next?
I'm
Look-
sure it wasn't him.
The
Sure, it was
giant
his
statue
house.
in the middle of his desk right now? That's
That
I
wasn't-
can't remember the name of the episode, but the guy gave him that thing. It's an
That wasn't
archaeological.
there. You're right, but that wasn't there before.
No. See, if we
Okay.
go back to this is the same desk. It's right where the gold Enterprise is. See, look, we have
Okay.
the gold Enterprise there.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
there's- Yeah. Okay.
And then if we go forward to when he's writing the letter,
Well, he's giving shit
now,
away.
now
Maybe-
we
maybe-
have
maybe,
the statue there.
I see that, but we know he's giving stuff away, which is a thing with people who think they're about to die or people who are about to.
Thank
kill
you, Trek
themselves.
Review. The Chase.
What?
That's the episode, The Chase.
I
But
think,
I'm just saying,
I-
you
I,
don't
no,
have to
I
shove-
think he's just bequeathing this stuff to people. Like
he
that's why
might
he
be.
has it.
I get that. I'm not saying there's not a reason within the universe that he's doing this stuff, but you don't have to shove everything in there.
Just
You
one of those
see what
people,
I'm saying?
like,
It would be like if
yeah.
in Star Trek 6 they had a prop from every single episode of the original series. You don't have to
That
do
would
that.
have been awesome.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, man. I think like
I
they're on
just
the
think they're
losing end of this
way
argument.
overdoing it here.
I didn't see that.
I
would
really-
love
to where
I
it's
would love to see.
distracting.
You know how on Star Trek 6 they had everybody do their sign like at the end credits. It was like their signature and it was like their send off. They knew it was their final movie.
Right.
I would love at the end of this if they did that. Oh my God, that would.
Well,
be,
let's
I
not.
got angry when they did that
I
Lower
would love
Decks.
it if. I guess I didn't see that in Lower Deck. I'm behind.
Lower
on
Decks, they did it when they
Decks.
made fun of the movies.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Anyway, so then Picard gets a signal on his old comm badge, but apparently his old comm badge is a cheap piece of plastic. Because don't tell me that is a gold, and I mean that is not metal.
Metal. I mean,
it
why
didn't
do-
even occur to me that it
I
wasn't
mean,
shiny.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember like the whole thing in the Last Outpost where Riker was like, it is gold, you know, and it's like that doesn't even look like. I mean that looks like it doesn't even look as good a quality as the ones you can buy online right now. They could have gone to eBay right now and bought a better looking comm badge. I couldn't believe I was looking at that. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I just being too nitpicky, or am I?
You are
Yeah.
being way too nitpicky, dude.
Way too.
I feel like you're
nitpicky.
being way too nitpicky. Yeah,
Okay, fine.
I had no problem.
I'm being
with
too
this.
nitpicky, but that's a cheap looking combat.
I mean, I'm surprised you weren't like, that uniform in that trunk doesn't look like the same vinyl fabric that they used in season 1.
I
Doesn't
don't
even
know.
look like you could
But-
put that on your body.
To be honest, I was very annoyed. Like, why would anybody even be keeping a uniform? It's obvious they would just
Or a
replicate it on
badge.
demand.
Yeah.
It's not like he really kept a closet full of uniforms.
No, man. Like maybe you're not that old, but the older you get, the more you want to hold on to shit like that. So
Well,
I
but
had no
in
issue
the
with
24th
that,
century, in the 25th century now, a piece of clothing is nothing to you because you just replicate it, and then when you're done with it, you put it back.
I'm talking about sentimental value. Like the older you get, the more that kind of shit matters to you. You know, like
Yeah, but I don't
like-
think you would have sentimental value for something you literally just get a new one of every day.
Yeah, in the movies they had totally different uniforms. Like
Yeah,
look and feel
but-
and stuff like that.
I feel like Picard would have had like, I don't know, it wasn't an issue for me because I feel like Picard would have been like, you know, this is my first command, this is my family. I spent like
It wasn't his
like,
first command though.
Yeah, it was. He even said it's not his first; it was just his favorite.
his
And
favorite.
why would the
Okay.
communicator come in a leather pouch?
Well, he put it in there like to save it, you know. So, like, dude, like I can pull out like. Anyway,
It just seemed weird. That's all. I'm saying.
Yeah. So then he decrypts the thing using the secret password that he
thanks
figured
to
out.
Riker, which
No, that comes later.
dude,
Now I couldn't understand if Myriad was the password.
Yeah, Myriad
Or-
was the password that for some reason everybody
Then
knew.
why would anybody? Why would he know that? That
no, but no,
I
he
Googled that
didn't. That's
Myriad-
why.
I'm sorry. What?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I Googled. I searched Myriad. There didn't have any prior meaning in the Next Generation.
Right. It
So-
must have just been some secret thing that they knew.
And we didn't.
Right.
Which I'm fine with. I actually really dug all of the Beverly Crusher stuff. I had no issue with it.
I wasn't sure if Myriad was the password or 47 Alpha Tango.
No, it was
No, that was
the
just Picard's
it was
access code.
It was the big thing was Hellbird or Hell's whatever it was.
Hellbird was what she said. That wasn't
Yeah.
a password.
but
that was
that's-
the
That in a
message.
minute. I'm gonna
Right,
get off on that in a minute, but we'll wait until we get to that.
Thomas, I read your comment. Athletes keep jerseys after great performance, even though they get new ones after every game.
Yeah, but that's because athletes are stupid. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Mom.
Anyway, so
Frozen, let me
anyway, he
know. I'm
decrypts
sorry.
it and he gets this stupid message. It's only one word, and that and that she can't trust anybody. And then there's Danny's.
Here
favorite,
we go. This is what I texted you about this.
Yeah, Danny specifically wanted me to get that because he likes.
Yeah. No, hold
See,
up. No.
people make out.
Shush. The
He's in the granny
podcast
porn.
guy. You motherfuckers. No, the podcast guys said they were very adamant about you not have to watch or know anything about the first two seasons. But this would be really fucking weird if you didn't know. And I'm not going to lie, because the Salty Nerd podcast made me watch the first two seasons for their Saturday
We didn't
show.
make you. We didn't sit you there with your eyes Clockwork Orange style watching those things.
Yeah, well, yeah, but if I wanted to be on your show, I had to watch it. And I wanted to be on your show, so it kind of made me.
Be honest,
But
right
anyway,
there, it looked like she was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Well,
You mean
like-
you voluntarily did something to be on our show?
Yeah.
We did not force you. You could have not been on the show.
Kind
That's-
of romantic
that-
how their heads and hands make it like a natural heart.
You know what? Okay.
and you can kind of see how his teeth are sliding into her mouth.
I wonder what it's
Right.
like to make out with a synthoid.
Anyway, well, like that's the thing. If you took the advice of a lot, like the Popcast and a lot of other people I know, and are fortunate enough, I think JT said in our Discord he didn't watch seasons 1 or 2, and I was like, dude, I'm jealous of you. Just watch season 3, but you would not get this scene if you hadn't. But
Right,
I'd
well,
rather you not watch.
you'd get it. Like you just understand that like this is Picard's chick now. You know,
right.
Yeah.
That, I'll tell you, and
You wouldn't understand the history, but
yeah,
Right,
I watched
yeah.
this with. I'll tell you, Danny. I watched this with my wife, and she did not watch the prior stuff, and she was just like, okay, so he and this Romulan chick are a thing.
Dude,
And
which
so-
like. This is the first time they kissed, right? Like
Yes,
like,
this is the first
yeah.
time they kiss on screen.
So I was all about it, and Shane was telling me this is it. We don't see her anymore for the rest of the season.
Thanks for the
This is a bummer.
spoilers, Danny. You know, you don't need to do that.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
But that was kind of the same thing for last season too. They
Yeah.
sidelined her for the entire season last season too.
I mean, I had not
No,
seen the rest
I
of
mean,
the
no, they
series.
didn't.
Oh,
They-
look
they-
at that eagle!
they
look
brought
at
the
that eagle
actress in.
mosh. I have that exact.
Well,
same
yeah, but
eagle
you know,
mosh ship
her
right
character
over
was pretty much.
I mean, it was a different character, but she was a big part of the entire season.
there.
You
Yeah.
know?
So shameless product placement for a defunct company.
I know, dude. That look, I literally have that exact. I can bring it over here and show you. I
Do
literally
you know
have
what
that exact same. Ship.
Angers me the most about this shot.
That they call it the fat ship.
No, is that in the 25th century, they're still using a cheap little clear piece of plastic to make the ship stand up. Can
You
make
probably
it hover or make it levitate
Break it.
with magnets or something.
This was
Well,
blatantly.
that might
You
be
need
why
to
they
have
can't
that
sell 'em.
technology.
That might be why Guinan can't sell them.
Well, no, they said we can't sell the fat ships, which I thought was
Nobody wants the fat one.
fucking
Which, by the way,
hilarious.
so thank you for vindicating me and Indy Tiger. That is the ugly ship. Thank you very freaking much. Everybody in the 25th century agrees the Enterprise D is the ugly one.
They're all
Nobody
fat
wants to
shaming.
buy it.
We've had this conversation. We agree with you. Yeah.
You guys are missing the actual joke though. That was directed at Riker. You know, he's the fat Riker. Nobody wants the fat Riker,
Goodness. So
No,
and that's why he responded the way he did.
yeah.
Little inside joke there.
And Danny's freezing up again, so we'll see if he makes it back. Hopefully,
I went completely over my head.
yeah. I just thought no. I think the Enterprise D because there's like 25 Enterprise Ds on the shelf.
Well, again, they're layering in a lot of these like kind of
Fuck.
inside joke things.
And
Did we get the Riker maneuver, like him going over the seat at all in this?
I don't think
this
so.
episode?
But I don't know if he's capable of the Riker maneuver.
He did make him. You did mention his knees
Yeah.
in the episode.
And the fact that he has to get up and pee a lot at night. And
Yeah.
so,
I'm right there with you, brother. I hear that. Yeah.
so we get this. I actually, I have to say I agree with what some people were saying that Riker and Picard had good chemistry. I really did.
It was so good seeing them on screen together
It
again.
was some of the best of the episode.
Yeah, it was like it reminds me of season 1 when there was that episode where Picard visits Riker and Deanna, and the show just changed drastically. Having them
right. It was the only
back
time
together
that
again.
felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
it was like seeing the there's a scene later on where Riker calls him captain, and he's just like, oh, sorry, old habits. But like when he said that, it was just like, oh, Riker, I've missed this.
And yes, Malfeas, I agree. The C is a better looking Enterprise, but the D is the ugliest Enterprise, and the people of the 25th century have vindicated me. So thank you, people of the 25th century. And so, yes, so I did like that scene, but and then okay, so here's where, and unfortunately, see, Danny keeps disappearing every time I want to talk about something that he mentions earlier. So hopefully he'll make it back. But this, to me, was and I'm curious to see what you guys think. I think this was a huge missed opportunity, because with all the 8 bazillion member berries they dropped, man, I mean, so they make up some crap here in order to get the coordinates, where they say, you know, with the word
The
help,
computer virus, yeah.
saying that there was a virus when Picard. Oh, hold on, let me get Danny's backstage. Can you hear us, Danny? You there? Danny, if you can hear me, keep your video off.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I would say keep your video off, so that might help you not crash.
Yeah.
All right. So what I was just going to go off about. So when they say the Hellbird thing, and they say that's a virus from when he was Locutus, and that kept putting 3s and everything, was messing up their navigation system. So he's saying, oh, add 3 to the coordinates, and that would help them find where they had to go, and that was the writing system. And I was like, what the heck are you doing? Instead of having her say Hellbird, have her say Bozeman. And then that would actually be to add 3s to everything, because that was the whole point of that episode.
And also, it doesn't require him going to somebody from Starfleet when she specifically said, don't tell anyone in Starfleet.
But even if she did,
Riker's retired though, so
right. But even if he did go to Riker, then
no, he's active.
Why did she say Bozeman? I don't understand. And he goes, well, didn't we run into the USS Bozeman? What was that all? Wait a minute, the Bozeman. We had that whole thing with the deja vu thing, and we kept having to add 3s. What happens if we add 3s to this, and it takes us to different coordinates? And then, oh, hey, there's
Can we circle back for a second? There was a moment where Riker says that he needs to get away from Deanna and his daughter for a while.
Yeah.
What was all that about?
Yeah, where he said that he said Deanna and what's her name would probably be glad to have him away.
Yeah, they'd appreciate some time away. Really made it seem like him and Deanna were on
and he
outs.
sounded like he was serious about it.
Yeah, it feels like they Han Solo'd him in a way.
Yeah. I think if he was actually being serious about it, well, I'm sure we'll find out about Kestra. Thank you, Trek Reviewer. Couldn't remember their daughter's name. If he was actually being serious about it, I'm sure we'll find out in a future episode.
And I'm sure they'll recover it.
Like maybe it'll have some tension with Worf. Like maybe she had an affair with Worf or something.
I highly doubt that.
Well, once you go Klingon, then you go right back.
I don't think Worf would be interested in her anymore.
Why? Because he ruined her?
Jadzia ruined her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my whole thing. I think that they should have used the Bozeman, because that actually would have made more sense. And then, of course, you got to have your evil guy lurking in the background.
It's Section 31, right?
I don't know. Maybe he is. But for some reason, I mean, all he needs is a mustache to be twirling as he's holding a little Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bird.
Why would he leave the Enterprise D in the drink?
Yeah, that was like, and he drops it in his whiskey, ruining both an Enterprise D and a glass of whiskey. What was the point of that?
I think you're being way too easy on the fact that they slipped in this computer virus and expect us to just be okay with that.
No, I was not.
Never brought up.
They should have used something totally different. That's why I think they should have used Bozeman instead of.
Yeah, because I was not okay with.
I was
the fact
totally
they
not
just
okay.
slipped in a computer virus during the Locutus thing. That
Yeah,
we
they completely retconned
never heard
both
about.
worlds. That was totally not okay. And podcast, thank you so much, guys.
Looks like
With a $5 super cast.
Was a setup. A ton of Easter eggs.
Yes, it was definitely a ton of Easter eggs. So
And
many
eggs are not cheap these days. So.
Yeah, eggs are definitely not cheap. If those are real eggs, man, we would be rich with eggs right now.
Yeah, we're still waiting for our shill checks from Paramount to clear. So like we're just being honest right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm being honest until I get some. Yeah, Soyuz would be another good one, Martin. You're right. But Bozeman would be good. Or what's the name of the captain? I can't remember his name, but Fraser. But yeah, but to make up a virus and retcon Best of Both Worlds, I thought was inexcusable. I don't know. What did you think, Kate? I mean, I don't know how well you know that material, but
I mean, like, the Best of Both Worlds, some of my favorite episodes of Next Generation. I knew that wasn't in there, and honestly, like, I didn't really care. I feel like, yeah, it would have been nice if it had been a little bit more accurate, kind of like how you're talking about. But at the same time, it's like, okay, it's a plot device. It's not really a big deal. It's getting Riker involved with Picard's story. So it didn't bother me.
all right. And moving on, we now go to Rafi and wannabe Dave Bautista as an Orion. Rafi is trying to buy drugs from him and get information on some kind of quantum tunneling weapon that was stolen from the Daystrom Institute.
That pesky Daystrom Institute, man.
Yeah, boy, they need to stop making, doomsday weapons. They're worse than, Professor Farnsworth over, in the Futurama world.
All I can say is that the minute I saw Raffi back on screen, I was like, I don't want to watch this episode anymore. I just want to fast forward.
She was
but
much annoying.
The twist at the end of this scene where it's revealed that she's undercover, I was like, okay, that salvaged something for me, but like I still just hate this character so much.
Right.
Like when she was complaining, it's like my girlfriend left me, Starfleet kicked me out. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that tracks. I'm surprised she didn't mention her estranged son.
Yeah,
but I guess you would have had to have seen like season 1 to get that reference.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't believe for a second that she was actually on drugs because I said,
I figured she was working for Starfleet.
No way I'd get that lucky.
Well, she was kind of like doing the stank weed in season 1, so I could see that.
And by the way, first of all, Andy Tiger with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Andy, so much, buddy. And says, when are we going to meet those so-called Saurians who are so good at making brandy? I want to know. Would they need to go to like their distillery? Like is their whole planet a freaking distillery? And if so, we need to go there. Like, I want to go to the 23rd century. Screw the 24th century. I want to go to the 23rd century and go and visit the Saurians. And
yeah, they're like the Mocklins in the Orville. They're just really good at making weapons.
The only thing
they're really good at making brandy.
That's all they do.
That's all they do.
And that's right. Isn't Linus on Discovery a Saurian, isn't he?
That lizard guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they might milk it from their glands or something.
You just ruined everything, man. They probably do. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm done. We're ending the live stream now. Thank you, Matt. You just ruined Star Trek for me. I absolutely hate you.
All right, so can I ask, like, this whole story takes place before one of Saru's guys destroys all the dilithium in the universe, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Like 500 years before.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
So we still have that to look forward to.
Oh yeah. Maybe it has to do with quantum tunneling and slipstream drives and
or that thing Girardi's guarding.
Yeah. Hey, here's a
And when are we
question.
going to meet the
So,
so-called saurians
since
who
we
are
know
good at
that,
making
why
brownies?
do they need the spore drive when we know that they have the proto drive?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't the spore drive like in the past? Didn't they develop that in the TOS era?
They classified it. So, yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying, like they were talking about how they needed the spore drive in order to get around, but they got the proto drive.
The proto drive might use dilithium.
Well, maybe.
They also have the Spock maneuver, which can help them time travel into the past.
Right, they can get some dilithium that way.
Yeah.
Just use what dilithium they have to use.
Or like warn them about that one dude who's going to destroy all the dilithium with his
Gonna
temper
cry,
tantrum.
and
Yeah.
break dilithium. Skywalker brand Saurian milk. Hello. Who's this guy?
Hey, yeah, apparently T-Mobile is having issues. Normally but anyway, go on.
Anyway, back to the story. So Rafi is surprisingly not actually doing drugs. She's just trying to work undercover to get information on this terrorist weapon.
I was actually surprised she did not do the drugs because in the commercial they show her like doing the drugs in her eyes.
Well, and like I said, I figured from the second we saw her that she was working undercover, just because when she said, "Oh yeah, I got kicked out of Starfleet," and I was like, "Yeah, right, sure you did."
Well, I mean, she'd been kicked out of Starfleet before.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I guess you're smarter than me because I bought it like
No, I
hook,
didn't.
line, and sinker. Yeah, she fooled me.
So then the second she was, and by the way, why not go back to your ship before whipping out the communicator and saying, "This is Secret Agent Rafi"?
Right in the middle of public.
Yeah.
Yeah, in earshot of all these other people. And then she just drops the drugs on the floor
Right.
for
So
anybody to find.
my wife even said that. So now some kid's going to walk by and pick up the crack and start
Yeah.
smoking it, So like, oh, way to go, Rafi. And by the way, that's another thing. Isn't this the same planet that Metalis Prime that Picard and Laris said they were going to go to at the beginning of this?
No, they were going to Chaltok 4,
Okay, never
which
mind.
is in the Romulan system, Romulan Star Empire.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind.
But Metalis Prime seems to be the same planet that the target is on later in the episode. She charts a course just between District 6 and District 7 on the same planet.
Is it?
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, that's lame. So then we get this abomination.
Abomination, it's space dock.
That's not space dock.
It's space dock. They added a few extra circles. Levels.
They added a few extra circles, all right. Why?
Gotta love those
Maybe.
circles.
They needed more room. It wasn't big enough.
I think they should have left it alone.
Is it still upside down? I can't tell.
I think it looked fine before. I don't know. I think that trying to make it look bigger and better is silly.
No, say goodnight to everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Cece. All right, so they go to space dock, and
God, that looks gorgeous, doesn't it?
obviously Danny was not listening to me.
No, I wasn't. No, I had to attend to my. What'd you say? What did I miss? Sorry.
I said that they should have left it to the original design. I like the original design better.
Said it was an abomination.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
wow.
you.
No, I thought it looked good.
And then we get this shot of Riker and Picard in the shuttle, basically discussing their plan to hijack the Titan.
So they already have a ship.
Yeah, he called it a
They
ruse.
take a ship to get a ship.
It's a shuttle, though, right?
Yeah, but maybe the shuttle doesn't have
Shuttle
warp.
across the galaxy.
He called it a ruse.
I mean, it's not like they could just give a shuttle to someone like Scotty and have him warp it around the galaxy.
Transwarp it.
Obviously, the Titan goes a lot faster than a standard ship. Otherwise, Beverly would surely be
Well,
dead.
Well, didn't
the
they say
time it would
warp
take him to
warp
get-
9.9 was like its cruising speed?
9.99.
9.9.
Yeah, 9.99.
Dang.
I remember when that used to almost destroy the ship.
Yeah.
I remember when that used to turn people into salamanders.
No, that was warp 10.
Yeah, they're just
9.99
0.01 off from salamander speed.
So, and by the way, people were complaining about L cars. Look behind Riker and Picard. There's L cars on the screens.
Dude, this is totally next gen fan service, and I'm not even mad about it. L cars, everything. Like, dude, I know I've already said this. This was like wrapping myself in a warm blanket.
Yes,
Nostalgia.
wrapping yourself in a you're a pig in a blanket. I know.
Yeah, it's so good.
What's it take to wrap yourself in a tight diaper? Like what type of thing do you have to be watching do that, Danny?
Oh wow, I don't know, man, because
That's a weird description.
no, that's a weird. Well, I'm not that old.
Well,
yet,
you got the
dude.
warm blanket, and then you got the tight diaper.
Are
Next
you
step is
saying
the
diaper
pacifier?
is better than a blanket or worse than a blanket?
No, I'm
I
saying it
haven't-
goes hand in hand.
I haven't been in a diaper in over 40 years, so I don't know how I'd feel about that. Like, come back to me later.
But you
Okay.
will be in a diaper again in 20 years.
Yeah, get those Depends ready. Yeah.
If I'm alive, like, I'm not gonna live that long. If
You're
I have to
probably-
look, no. If I look at my grandfather, if I looked at my lineage, they
All
all
right,
died.
we're at the rabbit hole time. Stop.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So anyway, so they're going over their evil plan to take over the Titan and trick the captain.
Evil plan. It's not.
You know what? We'll get into it. All right. So then here's our first shot of
Oh
the
my
Titan.
God! Look at that. Oh. Dude,
And so let's go through the panel. Bird, you're first on the list. What are your thoughts on the Neo Constitution class?
I was very impressed. I really liked it.
So you like it overall?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Kadish?
Well, I don't remember what the original Titan looked like, but it's a
Nothing
nice
like
looking
this,
starship.
I'll tell you.
Well, we never saw it in Nemesis.
it looked.
The only
It looked.
We-
more like
we
an
only saw it in
Excelsior
lower
class.
on lower decks. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing
it
like
looked
this.
Yeah, it looked more like an Excelsior class.
Well, wasn't was the ship that Riker showed up in season 1? Wasn't that the Titan?
No,
It wasn't.
no,
What was
it
that?
wasn't the Titan. This
Which
was,
one was
it was
that?
just some ship.
But it was like a super advanced ship.
Right.
Yeah, he said
but-
this was the most advanced
Yeah,
He
that was
specifically
that
said
was,
it's the most
that
advanced
was the
fleet.
paint ship.
ship in
Again,
the fleet.
guys.
If you look at the if you look
seasons
at
1
lower
and 2
decks-
didn't happen.
Yeah,
They're-
if you
they're
look at
not
lower decks,
canon.
the ship that Riker was in lower decks was the Titan.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't watched Lower Decks, so
Oh,
I checked out after the first season.
oh,
But
it's
anyway,
really good,
but it
bro.
was
You should
if the
watch it.
nacelles were
It showed
understood,
up in
the
the
original.
last episode of the first season.
but it looked nothing like this. But forget about that. What do you think of this,
Looks good to me. I like it.
Danny?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I was the one that was showing you pictures of this like early.
Right.
No. This is the sexiest fucking ship ever. I love it. The only problem is it's not called the Enterprise. This ship is awesome. You know how I feel, man. This is yeah.
I only have one major problem with it. Overall, I like the aesthetics, but I don't like the secondary hull, and
Why, dude?
it's too fat. I would round it off like that part.
Dude,
The bulk.
Really?
Dude,
I'd
will you
rather have.
relax? Just relax.
Don't fat shame. Don't fat shame, Michael.
You know what?
No,
I
I
fat
would.
Enterprise D, and I'm going to fat shame the Titan.
No,
Uh,
I would rather have. No,
you know,
I like.
you could rather have whatever. It
It's
needs
like
to
having
be
a beer belly. It's like having a beer
This
belly.
ship
I
has a
don't
great
want a beer belly.
personality.
You round it off like the Enterprise, A.
Hey
and-
man, you got okay. That aside, you got to admit this is a sexy fucking ship, right?
It's not bad.
Oh,
I also think there's a
dude.
little too much going on in the neck, but we'll get to
Really?
that. And we have a couple.
Okay.
I took a couple of pictures of it because when
Okay.
it leaves space dock. So
Dude, no, my
I do like
biggest
it from this
complaint.
angle. I think it looks really
Yeah.
sweet from that angle.
My biggest complaint is this is the Titan and not the Enterprise. I felt like this should have been the Enterprise.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
By the way, I do like the fact that it has module phasers, not phaser strips. Nice to see that again. Wonderful to see them in action. Hopefully we will. Okay, next call back to Wrath of Khan right here.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Now, this one didn't bother me as much as the first one.
Why did it bother you at all? No, I loved all
Because
of
this is not Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, but dude, we've been getting raped in the ass without lube for when
That has
when
nothing to do with
no,
the
hold
fact
up. No,
that
yes,
it's
it
not
does.
Wrath-
No, when did Discovery came out? What, in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 23?
Michael,
For
let
6
me
years.
ask you something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe these Wrath of Khan references are intentional because later on in the season we're going to be getting Wrath of Khan moments? Like it's
Whoa.
we're gonna be getting next generation version of Wrath of Khan.
I don't know. And if we do, I mean, I'll be more than happy to eat my words if they do it well, but I will also double down on what I'm saying if they do it poorly.
Kadish, I have to ask, have you seen?
No, he
I feel
hasn't
like-
seen it.
You have? Oh, okay.
So
I,
you know, it could be-
I have my writer's brain and
Yeah.
I'm speculating based
No, I
on
get
what
it.
I'm
I
seeing.
get it. And I was
Like,
thinking that too.
listen, Terry Metalis, he made one of my all-time favorite TV shows, which was 12 Monkeys. And in order to do that show,
Good
he had to think 4 seasons ahead in order to make the first season. So like if he's layering this stuff in to this, this one episode, my thought is that he's thought it through so that this stuff is going to pay off later down the line,
Right.
at least
Dude,
thematically.
I don't understand. Like, Kadish, you're kind of a big deal. How have you not had Brian or Shane give you the 10 episodes they've seen? I literally
Because I didn't
honestly-
want them.
Oh,
I'm still not convinced that this show is going to be good, but
okay.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
If they do, like for example, like let's say that they I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but if they do something that is a mirror image of Wrath of Khan somehow, that this quantum tunneling thing ends up being their genesis, and they have some kind of revenge plot in here. We already know that Picard has a son. There are definitely some similarities.
Well, I think we're probably going to get a big character death this season that's going
Right.
to,
Like-
mimic the Kirk Spock thing.
Right.
Yeah.
right. So things like
Yeah.
that. If we do get that, okay, and they do it well, okay. But at the same time, I just think that like in the 25th century, the bosun whistle, stuff this is only we've never seen anyone blow a bosun whistle except for in Wrath.
Well, another thing that we have to take into account here is I feel like Captain Shaw is like an old schooler, and I feel like this is like
I love
under
Captain.
he was my favorite character in this
You-
whole episode.
Like,
I loved Captain Shaw.
Yeah, because I was seeing it.
You're breaking up again, Danny.
Yeah, he's roboting. Danny's gone full synth, just like Picard.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right. So then we meet 7, or now it's Annika. And this is another one that I have a minor gripe with because I don't like, and this was a character choice that they went with back in season 1. I don't like that 7 goes by 7 and not Annika. You know, why would 7 go by anything other than Annika once she's gone full human? You know, why would she want to maintain her Borg ID as opposed to her human name? And then
wasn't she Borg Queen for a while there?
Well, for like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
But then ultimately, wouldn't she want to put that behind her and embrace her human name rather than her Borg name, her Borg designation? You know, and why is she so offended that the captain wants her to use her proper name? That kind of thing just kind of bothered me.
Well, it also feels like Shaw has a thing about the Borg in general, so he probably doesn't treat her very well to begin with.
Well, I get the feeling though. I think of him like making her call herself Commander Hansen. To me, is more akin to Jellicoe making Troy put on a freaking uniform. You know, that's her name.
Yeah, can we get to Shaw's introduction because he was such a boss? I want to talk about him.
Right.
Oh,
so then
Crash LaForge. No.
Yeah, we meet Crash LaForge on the bridge. I thought was cute. I'm hoping there's more of her later. We'll see what goes on with
I didn't even know Geordi had a kid.
Yeah, well, apparently this is her introduction as far as I know. So she was cute. We'll see if they do something with her later in the show.
Well, wait. How old is she?
I don't know, but I would guess that she's like, 20 something since.
So Silver Fox Geordi with his bionic eyes got busy with raising a family about 20 years ago, huh? Around the same time that. All right.
I heard that's LeVar Burton's real life daughter.
Is it really?
If so, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say.
So then we get, and of course, once again, Danny's gone. This is something he specifically requested that we do, is a couple of shots of these beauty shots of the
ship porn
leaving space dock, which I do have to say, nice looking CGI here. And so now, I'm sorry, that's overdone on the impulse engines. I mean, how many freaking impulse engines do you need?
Well, when you're cruising at 9.99 warp, I mean, it's a fast ship.
Apparently you need 6.
Yep.
But here's where I think the ship looks its best, is from the side. That's where the ship really looks glorious. The only thing is, I think it's a little busy on the neck. I would trim this back a little bit, but I think that from this angle, this ship is a thing
like a starship barber.
Yeah, but I think from here,
trim it back.
This ship is an absolute beauty. This is what a starship is meant to look like. So good job to the designers of this bad boy right here. And Trek Reviewer says this is not one of Burton's daughters.
No, I'm sorry. I was just confirming. Yeah. LeVar's Burton daughter will show up this season.
Okay.
As a character, but that's not her.
All right. So now we meet Captain Shaw, who is invited them to the captain's table for dinner, but he started eating without them because F you. And I like that F you, by the way, because this was his message that I see right through your crap. And so, and he even says, like, when they say, "Oh, we want you to change course," he's like, "No, you're retired. You don't have a ship. Screw you both."
His response was so good.
Yeah.
He's just like, "No."
Yeah.
And I like that he feels like a captain, right? Like he's like, "This is my ship. This is my command. You guys are old. I don't approve of like half of your adventures. my style is very different from yours, and so we're going to do things my way. And also, Todd Stashwick, who plays this character, he's the actor who plays this character.
Yeah.
He was a big part of Terry Metallis's 12 Monkeys TV show. He plays a fantastic jerk, just a fantastic a-hole. In fact, he was actually in Enterprise, if I'm not mistaken. He was like some alien on
Was he?
on the Enterprise series for like an episode or two. So it's good to see him back in Star Trek, but I feel like he was perfectly cast for this role. Like, he's such a good actor. I love watching him on screen.
See through what crap? It's very obvious. You have a retired admiral and the former captain of the ship showing up unannounced to do an inspection of the ship. He knows full well something's up. And then they're coming in wanting to change things. He ain't playing that. He knows that they're up to something. And so and hey, welcome back, Danny. So he's just like, yeah, homie, don't play that. I'm not going along with your games. You guys can screw yourselves. And this guy is he is Jellicoe of the 25th century.
Dude,
he did absolutely nothing wrong. I love this guy. And
dude,
I have nothing to respect for him.
Wow.
Danny, I loved him too. He was my favorite character. The whole starting the meal before they even showed up was such a boss move.
I admire him.
Did you
I
guys
don't know that I like
okay?
him.
Michael, I know you're not. I was tweeting this. In
I'm
real
former
time.
military, so I get this guy. He is a by the book captain.
Yeah, cool.
He's the guy I want in charge.
Cool. You know what? I've never been in the military. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I was tweeting this in real time. You can go look at my tweets. I was like, Shaw is a fucking asshole, but you guys liked him, so explain.
You know what? I liked Lorca too, and he was an even worse guy than Shaw. But I like the actor, and I feel like he was perfectly cast for this role. And he's someone who, like, realistically, like, he's putting obstacles in front of our heroes that aren't contrived, right? Like Michael said, everything that Shaw did in this scene, perfectly justified from his point of view, from a captain's point of view. And the moment where, like, Riker tries to call him on it, and he's like, that guy's retired, and I'm the same rank as you, but I have this ship. Like, chef's kiss. Like it was so congruent right
Not
there.
even just that, but when
It's
he
kind
was
of
like,
an FU about the wine too.
Yeah.
More of a Malbach.
no, like, I want to like Shaw. He made a lot.
Shaw doesn't want you to like him, though.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, Shaw doesn't care if you like him. Shaw just wants his ship to run well. He cares about his ship.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about some admiral that's coming on.
He don't want no shenanigans on his ship.
Think about this. Like, even what he said, the first thing he says is like he doesn't give a crap about Riker's jazz. He likes classical because it's precision.
That was great. He doesn't like the improvisational nature of jazz. He likes structure. He likes, stuff to have, like, crescendos and valleys and stuff.
Which,
like that.
interestingly enough, is more like Picard.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, please.
Danny, stop wandering, buddy.
Yeah, Danny forgets he's on a live stream sometimes.
And there he goes. Yeah. And Arabic, thank you so much, buddy, with $5 super chat. The show True, just finished watching, enjoyed it, but the Titan should have been a refit Luna class. I actually like this version of the Titan a lot more than the Luna class, to be honest with you. So I'm glad that they did this version of the Titan. But thank you so much, Arabic. Truly appreciate the $5. Helps keep the lights on around here. And we will continue as Danny struggles to keep both his sanity and his internet. All right. So, yes, I think that at least the three of us are in agreement that he's a good captain. Now, Bird, you were saying you don't like him, but you respect him.
I mean, I can tell I'm not supposed to like the guy, but damn, I respect the guy.
Right. Well, and that's my problem with it. Like, kind of like with Jellicoe too. You're not supposed to like Jellicoe, but I love Jellicoe. Like in TNG, Jellicoe is the best captain we ever saw.
Well, at least in Jellicoe, I can say I don't think Jellicoe was an ass. I really don't think he was an
But
ass.
you were supposed to think
He was a by the book guy.
You were
This guy's an ass.
Right, but you were
No,
supposed
Jellicoe didn't go after you. Jellicoe tell you how it was, but he didn't purposely go after you to make you look bad, to demean you. This guy does.
Jellicoe was a guest on the Enterprise. These guys are coming onto his home turf on the Titan.
Still, I think Jellicoe would have met an admiral at the door to let him on the ship and paid them respect.
And I think he would have too if the admiral wasn't retired.
I mean, why is he not in space? Why was he not on the bridge when they left space dock? That's something any competent captain should be doing.
Didn't 709 have a
He said he was busy with logs.
He was busy with logs,
but I think it was also
space dock.
I think it was also that he knew that they would be the ones taking the ship out, and so he didn't want to, compromise his position, his power position, until this dinner happened. Right. I think it was very planned out from the character's point of view.
Right. Yeah, because I think he knew that they were up to something, and he just wanted to kind of
like he's obviously familiar with who they are and the adventures that they had, and he obviously doesn't approve, and he suspects something's up immediately, which is why he's going through this, because he's putting them in their place, essentially. What he didn't count on was his second in command going rogue. That was like the flaw in his plan.
Right. And by the way, I also like the final part of his power play by putting them in.
Oh yeah, in the bunks.
Yes,
it was great.
So yeah, I wish Danny weren't having so many problems today. So, and there we get the worst of the member berries, the double face palm. They had to do that.
Was that the Deep Space 4 thing?
Yeah, that was. Well, no, that was when he made the Borg comment and left.
Mm-hmm. That was like no, I'm not doing anything to help you guys. He leaves.
Yeah,
and Picard realizes they're toast.
Yeah, they're screwed. So then we get the whole thing with Rafi talking to her mysterious contact. So. Theories on mysterious contact.
I think it's lore.
My initial theory was she was talking to an AI and that there was no contact. But then Positive Candor told me a much better theory. And now I'm sure it's that. I don't want to say it because I feel like it's a spoiler. Unless you want me to.
I have two conflicting theories. One would be lore, and the other would be Georgiou. What do you think? What did Positive Candor think?
Georgiou would be dead by now, right?
No, Georgiou went back in time. Remember?
She was
in the 32nd century, and they sent her back in time.
Yeah, but didn't she go back to, Strange New Worlds era?
We don't know what time she went back to.
Yeah, maybe she only went back to the 25th century.
I don't think Metalis would use Georgiou. I don't think. I think he'd.
I don't think they'd be able to get her.
Yeah, I think he'd probably stick with someone from Next Gen.
That's just that. Like I said, those are my two theories.
At this point, I'm pretty sure it's Worf. When they told her you're a warrior, I thought it was foreshadowing that she was going to meet up with Worf.
Okay.
But now I'm thinking, yeah, he's probably right. It probably is Worf, because he's the person you would least think it was.
Oh, Worf, because he's a warrior. But Worf in Starfleet Intelligence?
Well, there's no good way to have Worf in this, so might as well be Starfleet Intelligence.
No? Okay. All right, so moving on. So then we get a nice shot of the Titan. I keep wanting to say the Enterprise moving along in warp. I still think that secondary hull needs to be rounded. It's a little too angular for me.
And I really don't understand why Captain Shore would have Seven as his first officer if he doesn't like the Borg.
Hey, Danny, check your speakers. I think we're getting an echo from your speakers or something.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Sorry.
Okay. Now, I love this shot. Absolutely love the fact that we got them in the bunks, that how humiliated they are, and their whole conversation about how this reminds them when they were cadets, but Riker didn't remember having to pee this often. It was just a fun little scene. Again, showing the I really love the chemistry between Frakes and Stewart here. Even though Stewart is 150 years old, they had good chemistry throughout. I would love to see Frakes star in a series on his own. Every time I see him on screen, I want him more and more to be in his own show. But yeah, you can tell they're not particularly comfortable in these bunks. But lo and behold, they are awoke, because it's a woke show. Get it?
I get it. Yeah.
By Annika, who says, "All right, tell me what the heck is going on before I throw you out in airlock."
And it's important to, like, I forgot about this, but like Riker has never really met Seven before, has she?
Yeah, this is their first meeting in this episode.
Yeah. And there's a great part there where she's like, persons speak freely, and then she starts like ragging on Jean-Luc, and Riker's like, whoa, you don't talk to him like that, and she's like, I'm talking to him as a friend, Right. So I thought that was a good moment.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if they were such good friends, how did Picard not know she was commanding officer of the Titan?
Because, he was too busy screwing his Romulan slave.
Well, also they were connected through the Borg, so like they know each other intimately. I'm guessing.
Yeah, they know each other in ways.
I mean, technically, they were part of the same consciousness at some point.
Yeah. And Danny, you're just missing all the ship porn, buddy. Another nice shot of the Titan as it approaches the nebula. So Annika, after listening to their story, decides to directly disobey orders and take the Titan into the system where Beverly was. Now, remember I was talking about how they just put lights on. They're not really windows. So look, like, are you telling me that there's windows like literally, right next to the exhaust of the impulse engines? Like somebody's going to be standing right there underneath the exhaust for the impulse engines, or that there's rooms right there where the impulse manifolds are, no. So they're just lights. That's the problem. That's the problem with these ship designs. Some people, they don't spend enough time in the design phase as far as thinking that these are windows. Or how is that a window? Look at where that is, on the ship. It just doesn't make sense. Sorry, I know my nerdiness is showing, but I just have a problem with that. Oh, that's where the bunks were. Okay, gotcha, Mr. Trent. And so this, I love this shot where Captain was it Trent or
Captain Shaw?
Captain Shaw wakes up and he's like, "What?"
Well, I was a bit annoyed that thunder in space woke him. Like,
well, you're
not supposed to be able to hear the thunder.
Well, if they were in a thick enough nebula, they could hear it. To be fair, I mean, if the nebula was so thick you could see it, you'd be able to hear it. Granted, in real life, if you were in a nebula, it wouldn't be so thick you could see it. But in Star Trek world, you know, nebulas are so thick that you can like swim around.
To me, it seemed like the nebula was, you know, away from the ship. But
well let me ask
whatever.
you, like when the captain's asleep, who's usually in charge of the bridge?
First officer.
But the first officer is usually awake when the captain's awake, isn't that how it goes?
Nobody ever sleeps except for the captain.
The night shift is usually in charge.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, who's usually in charge of the
No,
night
that's
shift?
why there's 3 shifts.
I have got something better.
So the captain sleeps one shift and the first officer sleeps another shift. And then they're both on another shift.
Retired admiral showed up on a U.S. Navy ship. The captain would still greet him. It seems Lai has a personal grudge against Borg. He's rude to Picard from the beginning.
So ignored, thank you so much, the tips $1, and says, I'm pretty sure if a retired admiral showed up on a U.S. Navy ship, the captain would still greet him. It seems like he has a personal grudge against the Borg. He's rude to Picard from the beginning. He doesn't even let Seven use her Borg designation, which she preferred. Well, again, this isn't about personal pronouns. It's about using your actual name. Like, you know, if your name is Michael, I don't get to go around saying my name is, you know, 32.
But if Seven loved like Seven,
if she
I'm
loved,
sure she could have legally changed her
she can
name.
legally change her name to Seven. But she obviously hasn't done that. As far as Picard, you know, the captain is under no obligation to greet Picard. And he, you know, he decided not to as a power play, like Kadish was saying. He wanted to see what they were up to. He waited, and then he put his move out at the right time. And I think that, and this scene bears him out because, you know, they basically commandeered his ship. Now, granted, Seven did it, but he doesn't know that. You know, so.
Well, he does know it. As soon as he gets to the bridge, he says that he blames her.
I thought he said, "Now I know you sent me the script, but I didn't go back and look at it yet." But I thought he said, "If you had anything to do with this."
No, he pretty much called her out. He said her career was over. She threw away her career for this stunt with misplaced
And then he leaves
loyalty.
her in charge.
Which, yeah, that seems like a contradiction. Let me see.
He's obviously not a morning person. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going there now. Bear with me. Frat party.
He says, "This was you. You just loyaltied your way to the end of a career.
Okay.
I want a full report, the ins and outs of everything they just did." And then leaves.
Okay. And so, but yeah, he is obviously pissed, and justifiably so. There's a nice shot as the shuttlecraft leaves. And at that point, there's nothing they can do. So I'm assuming that in the next episode, he can't go anywhere because there's an admiral and a captain out there. So they got to, you know, try and get him back.
Well, the Titan's going to be the thing that protects them from that huge ship.
Well, is the ship really all that huge?
Well, compared to what they were on.
I mean, compared to Beverly's little ship, sure. But compared to the Titan, they're probably an even fight.
I mean, Shaw doesn't even attempt to use a tractor beam. or even
So-
to contact them and say, come back or else.
So,
No,
Michael, I have to get going, but I wanted to talk about like the reveal of like the other passenger on the ship before I go. So that's totally Picard's kid, right?
Well, this is something that's kind of funny when my wife and I were talking about it, because when you see him, and he says that I'm, Dr. Crusher's son, and it's like dun dun dun, right? And my wife's like, "Well, who did she have a son with?" I said, "Well, can't you tell from his French accent?"
I mean, his British accent.
No, that's his French accent, because it's a British accent.
I thought the first
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
everybody from France apparently has a British accent. Yeah.
Well,
And-
so
and
like
that
you know,
accent,
they talk about how Beverly disappeared 20 years ago, cut off all contact. It's
Mhm.
obvious that they set up that Picard and her were lovers for a while.
Mhm.
So my guess is she got knocked up. She knew Picard hated kids and wouldn't want it, and so she effed off to have the baby, raise it as her own, and got kind of drawn into some type of intrigue. And now we have the setup for Picard's son, who will eventually, by the end of this season, probably replace him and be like, the new captain of like whatever.
right.
So
It'll be the new-
that's how I read it. And I actually really like the actor they cast as the new son. I just watched him in this show called You on Netflix that he was really good in. He was also from Downton Abbey as well. So like him as an actor. Looking forward to see some awkward father-son stuff between him and Jean-Luc.
I'm interested, but at the same time, and again, I know we're skipping ahead here, but I know you got to run. I am really pissed off that he has an English accent. Because how the heck did he get an English accent living with
Maybe
Dr.
maybe she raised him in Britain. Who knows?
on a starship? They've been on a starship running from these.
They might not have been on a starship for 20 years running from these guys. It might have been, a very recent thing.
If
Who
they
knows?
were
Excuse me.
hiding in Britain, you'd think that Picard
Excuse me.
would have found him. Yes, Bert.
Faulty. Does not your son speak with a British accent?
That's different.
No, but he does.
Well, but that's different. My son's not French.
Just saying anything's possible.
Sure.
Technically,
Accent's not
it's a
something to
space
say.
accent.
It's a space. Yes.
Yes, it's a space accent. Anyway, Michael, thanks for having me on. Sorry
Absolutely.
I couldn't stay for the whole thing, but I have a 9-year-old who requires my attention.
I understand.
All right, so hopefully I'll get to talk about episode 2 with you next week. Let's see.
Absolutely. Well, assuming I can talk next week.
Assuming, yes.
Yes.
All right, take care. Have a good night, guys. Give my best to
Take care.
Danny.
All right. And Ensign Ricky with a $5 super chat says, I thought the first episode was good. The music, the flybys, the production, even the writing was decent. Let's see if they can hold it up. I do hope they can at least keep it at this quality or better, because even though I've been ragging on it a little bit, this is definitely a step up from the last 2 seasons. I'm not denying that. But thank you, Ensign Ricky. I do appreciate it. Hopefully Danny makes it back here before the end. All right, so moving on. So then we find out that the red lady was a statue of Rachel Garrett, yet another memberberry. I mean, I don't know. I mean, could somebody do a count of the memberberries in this episode? Is it even possible? I don't know.
I saw a YouTube video. They claimed there was over 70.
Oh, I think there's more than that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends on what all you're going to count. Like just looking at the screens on this.
Yeah, I think that's like 12 right there.
Yeah. I mean, I can see like there's the NX-01, you got, this is something from Star Trek Online. I recognize it. There's the Enterprise E or F or whatever. There's the Stargazer. You got
Obviously, Rachel Garrett.
right, Rachel Garrett right in the middle. Yeah, it's just crazy. So anyway, so yeah, I think that, but yeah, so Rachel Garrett statue is the Red Lady. So she's like, oh crap, now I know that it's a target, not a, and so she goes, it's a Federation recruitment center, and there's a big old statue of Rachel Garrett that's right in front of it right here. Why they have a big statue of Rachel Garrett in front of a recruitment center?
It's for the recruits.
Yeah. So you can die like Rachel Garrett. And I'll tell you, England DG, my problem with the memberberries thing, I don't mind memberberries. My problem is that when there's so many of them, like in this episode, that it just gets insane. You know, it becomes such a huge distraction from the show. And that's my problem, is that it got to the point where it's like it's hard to focus on the story sometimes because there's just so much crap going on. What are you chewing up? Huh? Stop chewing stuff. Anyway, so then we see what this quantum tunneling weapon can do. And all right, so here's the interesting thing. So the quantum weapon beams down a sky beam onto a limited area, as you can see, as it circles this building.
Preferably a round target.
Yeah. And then, basically makes the building fall into a portal, and then it falls out of a portal and crashes into the ground. Now, interestingly enough, this is not unlike a typical super weapon from the video game Command and Conquer. I don't know. Have you ever played Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer? Of course, I played Command and Conquer.
Well, don't you think
I don't remember this?
Don't you think this is like a super weapon from Command and Conquer?
Maybe I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was usually just sending troops out after.
Yeah. Well, that's why you'd always lose. All right. So
maybe some tanks.
Yeah. All right. And so now this is what I was talking about. So there's a standard shuttlecraft. See it right here. And you see it's the size of that entire, what you would think would be the bridge module.
Yeah. I mean, this is where the whole ship scale breaks down.
All right. So this ship is tiny.
I mean, to that, like, it's just a single deck, maybe, that saucer
Maybe
section.
2 decks. But yeah, this ship is compared to a typical starship, this ship is absolutely tiny. And so that's why it drives me crazy when you see these lights. Like, look at these lights. Oops, I got the mouse in the wrong spot. Like these lights down here, those can't possibly be windows.
No.
Right? That can't be a window. You know, a lot of these little lights that you see couldn't possibly be windows because they're too small. So that's why I don't like it. Yes, the rift generator in CNC 3. That's, but yeah. So this ship is tiny. So Riker and Picard whip out their flashlights. I do like, by the way, a couple of things. I like that they have phasers that look like guns instead of those stupid, shop vac looking phasers that they had in the series. I also like that, Riker's little comment about, their arthritis and bad knees, so that, as long as we don't have to move or pull triggers, we'll be fine. But they're searching the ship to see if they can find Dr. Crusher. They find her in a stasis chamber. And so trying to figure out what's going on.
I was quite annoyed when Picard used her most recent Starfleet medical.
Oh, to try and get the life.
To get a life sign match.
But yeah,
and then it was identical.
Yeah.
20 years later, it was identical.
Yeah. Well, apparently you don't change in 20 years. even after having a kid, which, women do change hormonally and stuff after having children, but never mind. And Ozzy, that ship is definitely smaller than Defiant. Anyway, so little Picard Jr., whatever you want to say, baby Picard, he gets the drop on him. But then, once Riker talks him down, so then Riker decks him, because that's what Riker likes to do. He humps people and decks people. That's his thing. And
Probably
then
hurt more than it hurt Riker.
Yeah, then the big bad shows up. But if you consider the tininess of Crusher's ship, the big bad ship is only about the size of the Titan.
Yeah. Yeah, the Titan should be able to make quick work of that ship.
Or at least be, a fairly even match. Now, the question is, what race do you think that ship is? Arabic thinks it's Ferengi.
I don't think it's really a race. I don't know.
I think, if it wasn't for the fact that it's not crashing, I would think that it's Kurogan. Although it sounds like Geordi's daughter might be Kurogan.
I was wondering that myself.
If she's Kurogan.
With Crash LaForge.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? There you go. You got a Star Trek character that you can claim as one of yours finally.
So the question, you're assuming the kid was born 20 years ago.
I would say, yeah, I would assume that she was pregnant with Picard's love baby when she disappeared.
The other option is she got pregnant the year she left the show.
Oh, so she could be older, and then she had the love baby, and then had him secretly raised by someone else?
Yeah.
That could be.
And then the whole time she was with Picard for the next 7, 8, 9 years, she knew he had a son and never told him. Which I guess, because the Ferengi would have been after him, was probably a safe bet.
All right. And Arabic, I know Geordi never crashed the ship, but Crash LaForge is Geordi's daughter. That's something we mentioned early on in the show. We met her early in this episode, so we think that she might be. So Geordi married a Kurogan. Why? No idea.
Thomas is the actor's 34.
The actor that's playing Baby Picard.
Yeah.
That's weird. According to Memory Alpha, the kid's name is Jack Picard.
So she names her second son
After her
Jean-Luc Picard, after her first son.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's better than Wesley.
Yeah.
This is Wesley 2.
Jack Wesley Picard. Jack Wesley Crusher Picard. How's that? Or Jack Wesley Picard Crusher. So overall, Bird, what did you think of this episode? I know that Danny really loved it. He felt that it was like a warm, wet blanket wrapped around his, junk.
Overall, to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. Hearing from, so many big names that this was so great.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted,
I honestly expected
more than one episode.
No, these are from people who already saw 6 to 10 episodes.
Right.
But like Robert Meyer Burnett was like saying, watch the first episode, you'll be hooked. And I watched this first episode, and I'll be honest, I'm not hooked.
Right.
I thought it was decent, don't get me wrong. Better than the final episodes of season 1 or 2. for sure. But if God forbid the show went off the air or whatever, I couldn't care less. I wouldn't bother me
Right.
to never see the rest of the series. That said, I gave it an 8. I thought it was pretty good episode.
I would say this. I think visually it's great. I like ships that look like actual Star Trek ships. You know, they don't like we don't have stupid crap like the La Serena and other ships that just don't look like Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nice to have all the main characters wearing uniforms and not wearing, civilian clothes all the time.
It passed the test that I knew all the characters' names.
Right.
Pretty much. At least all the new ones. Not that there were many, but Captain Shaw. And I guess it was really just Captain Shaw.
Yeah. And I would agree with you, Ozzy. I don't think it was as strong as the premiere of season 2, but season 2 really busted out fast. Insane Hippie Insane thinks it looks kind of like a Zindi ship. That's interesting.
I'll note an 8 is a lower score, than I gave episode 1 of season 2 or season 1.
See, you tend to score things a lot higher than I do. Like to me, 8 is like really, really good. Because I would probably give this about a 6.5, which is good, but not great.
For me, like the 6.5 is just barely passable.
Right. See, my quick description that I gave somebody asked me earlier today, what did I think of it? I said, it's good enough. It's not bad. If the entire season were as good as this episode, I would be satisfied, but I wouldn't be elated. However, it would still be the best season of Picard if the entire season held up to that.
Oh, yeah, if it could, and if it does hold up.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is in the beginning of a series, they get the benefit of the doubt.
Right. And Picard has held up, or has done well at the beginning of every season.
Yeah.
And Alexander, thank you so much, puts in 2 Shatners from up there in Quebec and says Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR is the best choice. Trek Reviewer gives it a 7.9. Aravic gives it an 8. So they're tending to agree with you. I think most people are scoring it a bit higher than me, but LDG gives it a little lower than a score than me. Gives it a 6. I don't know what Danny would give. He's not answering his text messages. I'm trying to get him to see if he'll come back on real quick before we wrap up.
England LDG doing the math for asking how is she having a baby at her age. I would say I have no problem in the future women being able to get pregnant later on due to advances in medicine.
I have got something better.
And
yes.
Hello.
Oh, we got Joe Biden donated $1. Thank you, Mr. President. Always nice to get a donation from the President of the United States.
Asian Muslim wife born in
So,
USSR
Mr. President says, hello. Dork Knight below is your kind of chill tonight. You seem to be a completely different person. Hail Kuroga, number 22. Yes, indeed. Danny does seem to be a completely different person tonight. And
I like Aravic Saunders saying that Beverly hit him in the transporter.
Oh. Hit him in the transporter?
Yeah, in the transporter buffer. Doctors aboard starships have a long history of hiding their children in the transporter buffers.
I thought he was saying that Beverly was hiding in the transporter.
No.
because of what she looked like.
She looked perfectly fine.
No, she didn't. She looked horrible.
What do you mean horrible? You should be worried. If you looked half as good
I'm
at her age, you'd be
I'm not-
lucky.
And Chief Cook thinks it was boring. I don't think it was boring. I just don't think it was great. But it was all set up. So we'll see. And like I said, that whole thing with the phaser rifle was just stupid to me. I don't know. Do you think I was overreacting with the phaser rifle?
I don't think you're overreacting. The phaser rifle and the ridiculous plan of Beverly to contact Picard via the Enterprise D communicator, which was a 1 in a billion chance that it was going to be out and somewhere he would hear it in earshot, is the most ridiculous two parts of this episode for me.
Yeah.
And then the close third is Rafi in public saying, "I'm a spy. I need to hear from my handler and send me money," on a TOS style communicator.
Yeah, there was definitely some stupidity going on. So yeah, I'm Chief Cook definitely did not like it. The ship looked good, but the story was stupid.
The ship looked great on the outside. The inside, it was as dark as any Discovery bridge.
Well, I think the corridors looked fine.
The bridge was incredibly dark.
You don't think the corridors were good though?
The corridors were probably fine. They didn't stand out to me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at Orville Nation happened to be suspended from Twitter today for reasons we can't figure out. So in my retweeting to try to get Orville Nation unsuspended from Twitter, his image is that of the bridge of the Orville, and it is this beautiful, bright, correctly lit bridge.
Right.
And just looking at that, like, that is how a bridge is supposed to be lit. So I CC Terry Metalis. By the way, Terry, this is how you light the bridge. Because, I mean, that's the way you do it, not what we got.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Terry Metalis.
Way too dark. Yeah. I don't understand what their obsession with making everything dark is. I mean, at least I don't know how you feel about it, but it seems like on Strange New Worlds you can see what's going on.
It's better than Discovery, but it's still not great.
No. But well, you can see the panels. You can see you can see.
Yeah, it's better. I just think it's.
But yeah, you can. I don't know how they don't trip over themselves walking around the bridge on the Titan. And now Chief Cook says the Titan should have been the Enterprise F. Dude, relax. The Enterprise F will show up. I'm not hating on it. I just think that it could have been better. So we'll see what happens next week. So hopefully next week we'll have Danny, and hopefully we'll have me. Bird, will you be able to come back next week? Because I may need some help standing in.
Well, I'll see. I'll try my best.
I would really appreciate it, just because I understand you can't do it every week, but at least next week, because of my surgery,
I will certainly try.
Okay.
Will do my best. I'm definitely glad I decided to come on today, since.
Oh, me too. I'm always glad to have you here, and especially since Danny was in and out so much today. It's too bad, because I know he really enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him too.
So hopefully I can get a hold of him later tonight and find out what's going on with him.
He hates me though, so.
Well, everybody hates you. That's okay. But there is one last thing though we do need to do before we go, because It's just important.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted waters, all that is, and don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, building them castles in the sky.
So tell me, what was that like, singing and dancing with Nancy Pelosi like that?
Oh, it was the greatest night of my life.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, but serious question before you go.
Yes.
I gotta ask, who says it better, me or Captain Shaw? Son of a bitch!
Oh, you say that better than anybody.
You did hear when Captain Shaw said it.
Yeah, but you say that better than anybody. There's
Okay,
nobody.
just wanted to make sure.
Except, in fact, I was actually thinking about trying to, and I just didn't have time. I wanted to get you saying it and dubbing that over him saying it, but I just didn't get a chance. Speaking of which, Alexander says everyone wants to see MCU make it now, right now. I just don't think that everybody wants to see that. I think, especially since she's a corpse at this point. But thank you, Alexander, for the 2 Shatners. And remember, with that, you are the salt of the earth. I am the salty trekker. Bird of Prey 5 is a good sport for letting me mess with him and the Nancy Pelosi thing. I do appreciate it, Bird. And, you guys, thank you all that have been able to help, and those of you that just for supporting the channel. You guys are awesome. 44 people watching today. Thank you so much. And we will be back next week for episode 2. And hopefully, and I'll have a really cool scar on my neck. That'll be fun. And we'll see how that.
What other organs can they take out?
I was thinking about
Probably
doing.
don't need.
I'm trying to figure. Like, they took out half of my colon, right? They replaced
Probably.
the knee. They took out my appendix. They took out my gallbladder.
You only need one testicle.
Well, yeah, they could take one testicle. They could take a kidney. I haven't lost any kidneys yet. So I'm just trying to think of like doing a weight loss plan by removing whatever organs I could get rid of. But yeah, I haven't gotten rid of all of them yet. So still have ways to go.
Good luck with that.